Hi guys, welcome back to Kpop Talks. I'm your host, and today we're doing our weekly Kpop recaps, where we're gonna talk about the comebacks that I was more interested to listen to and the best and the worst songs of this first bunch of September. Let's get right into it. Next we have Boy Story with WW. Boy Story is a very young group that JYP has had for years at this point. They debuted I think when they were like 12, 13. As far as I understand, they mainly always work with the Chinese market. Even this song is mainly in Chinese. But the interesting thing is this song doesn't really feel like a JYP song at all. You know, when you listen to this song and you know you get into it, you realize it's like more of a classic Monsta X, more of a classic, even like it gets a little bit of some BTS in there, but specifically Monsta X, I think when I listen to them in this song really remind me of that. It's somewhat of a breath of fresh air for JYP itself, but the song itself to me doesn't really stand out as much. But at least it's nice to see them being promoted also to the more of the worldwide community, because it was very weird that, you know, they debuted, then they released a couple of songs, and they disappeared, and then come back and disappear again. Hopefully they can keep staying stable and possibly even become bigger in Korea or Japan or America. You know, you never know. So, you know, hopefully this is a start to an interesting journey for them. We have Gilan with Chica Bonita, with Jameds, Benny Benefit, and Kitso. The song is fine, actually. The best part of the song to me are the feature. I think also Gilan does a great job. The production is simple, it's basic in many ways, but I think it really works well for what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, and I think they've done a great job. It's a catchy song, the chorus is catchy, the vocals are really good, the rapping here by the three guys is very good, and they all sound different, you know, they all have a different style. And it's one of the more interesting songs I've heard, you know, like Jameds is somebody that I remember was on Show Me the Money 6, I think, if I remember correctly. He looked cool. I don't know if he appeared in the other ones because I haven't watched like 8 or 9. I haven't watched, I think there's in season 10. I haven't watched season 10, if there is, but I haven't watched the last 2-3 seasons pretty much. So I'm curious to see what it is, but I think the other guys, Benny Benefits, Jameds, they all do a great job, especially Jameds I really enjoy. And hopefully he releases more music because I think he's a very talented artist. Like, all of them, I think they have a lot of potential. Last, with Runaway featuring Dihak. This is a good song. I really like this version specifically. I like the vocals, I like how simple it is. It's somewhat raw, there isn't a lot of things, it's minimal. The rapping section is very weird. I think his vocals are very questionable, but it brings completely different vibes to the song that the two main singers don't really bring. And I think it's an interesting way of approaching the song. No, is it my favorite verse of the year or the favorite feature? No, but I enjoy at least trying something different, hearing something different in the genre, specifically in this lower, like more underground type of artist. So it's an enjoyable track, but the feature is not my favorite, even though I respect trying and experimenting with styles and trying different things. It's cool to me. Next is True from Luna, 1.5. There's been a lot of rumors recently that True is gonna leave Luna, and she's probably not gonna be the only one. As far as they say, there's gonna be a lot of people leaving. True is huge in Korea. She has a big brand. I think she also has an active YouTube channel. Does pretty good. But this song itself, it's pretty good. It's a cute, you know, pop, a ballad type of song. The chorus is very catchy in my opinion. But yeah, having said that, I hope Luna stays together. I think they can be a very impactful group in the future. But you know, after the start they had and everything that happened after, it's hard to see how they can keep going. Also, the way their company have been managing them, it's questionable in a lot of the decision, in my opinion. But you know, as I always say, these things are more complicated than we know and that we see anyway. So the song is enjoyable, not one of my favorites, but it's an interesting way of seeing True possibly in the future doing, you know, more solo stuff. Next we have Balmin Tiger with Sexy Requiem featuring RM. Now Balmin Tiger I've known of, I'm pretty sure I've heard their songs in the past. But this is one of their more interesting singles, I find it. You know, it's very weird. The production is weird, the vocal decisions, the way they approach the rapping. Interesting enough, the song is pretty much almost full English. And RM actually does a very good verse, brings interesting beat, I think an interesting flow to the song, and interesting good vocals. I think his vocals stand out because all these guys have very deep voices, and he stands out having a little bit more of a higher pitched voice compared to the other guys, which is ridiculous because RM has a low pitched voice. But I mean, if you ask me personally, I think, you know, the song's pretty good. It's very hard. I can see people taking them a little bit to get into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if people told me they didn't like it. Having said all that, kind of a, you know, I look at the comments and 90% of them are about RM. Nobody's really talking about the song, which is sad. As I always say this, but I understand. I think RM knows that and understands that he's not stupid. He understands his job way 1,000 times better than I do. You know, they're his friends. I don't know if they collaborated in the past already. I don't think they did, but maybe they've done. I don't remember, but it's a good song. I really like it, by the way. I like the chorus, interesting production choices, kind of experimental for the genre, and RM brings a really cool feature as well. One of the best songs of the month already. Next we have SB19 with Where You At. Now, I don't know anything about this group. I don't know where they're from. Please correct me. I think they're from Indonesia or Philippines, I'm not sure. But it's a K-pop song. You can hear it's a K-pop song. It's definitely K-pop inspired, even though there's some inspiration obviously from American boy bands as well. Full English song. It's fun. It's definitely a throwback. The video also suggests a throwback. Obviously the video is like the 50s, 60s, but you know, the song is pretty much early 2000s, you know, like mid 2000s K-pop and boy bands from America. And interesting how they fuse it in a more modern way, in a fun way. It's a fun song. I enjoyed listening to it. It was a good song. It is a good song, in my opinion. Pretty G with Love Taker. They seem to have went to the Dreamcatcher route, like original Dreamcatcher with the rock sound and stuff like that. I enjoyed it. It's not the most original thing, but at least they're trying different things and see what sticks the landing. I respect it, you know. Definitely a good throwback to Dreamcatcher. It's not necessarily a copy, but you know, they're trying to do something different and they're experimenting, which is good. If groups experiment, that means the genre in general is in a decent state, at least at these levels of success, you know. Next we have Blitzers with Gradation. A ballad, great vocals, but I really like the vocal. I mean, it's not really a ballad, it's a mellow pop song, you know. I love the vocals in here. The song is fine. I really enjoy it. I wouldn't say I would personally go back to it, honestly, but it's the classic song that you play at the end of the concert, you know, to get all emotion with the fans and leave, you know. It's a fine song, in my opinion. Next we have Key with Another Life. This is an extract from his album, which I have to listen yet. I have to listen to yet. It's a good song, in my opinion. Like, even when I look back on it, it's like, Key has definitely grown a lot as an artist, even in a year. He seems more focused, seems to be more concentrated, just on like, oh, let's have a comeback to be relevant in the music. He's active, he's, I think, really focused into creating good music, you know, which is what he should be at this point in his career. You know, he's not a kid, he's 30, and, you know, this is where I hope there's going to be a growth in music that we've seen with Kai, we've seen with even Chan, we've seen with, you know, other, you know, Onyus. Why did I say Kai from EXO? But my point is, like, from his label mates, you know, even Onyu and stuff like that. Taemin is, for example, this, like, it's time for him to grow because he has all the potential to be a really interesting artist, in my opinion. But he himself said it in a lot of interviews. I really enjoy doing variety. I'm really good at it. Therefore, that's what he cares about. He cares about fashion a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if music is more of a side thing for him. But I think he understands. I would expect after this album, because it's a long album, he's gonna tour a lot. You know, there's a lot of effort he put behind it. So, you know, I think he's taking it more seriously than maybe he makes it look like. You know, I think he's a way more serious person that, you know, maybe when you look at the cameras and his personality on television or varieties, maybe gives you the impression of. Next we have One Us with Same Scent. It's good. I can't say it's bad. It's a good song. But for every reason, for me, it doesn't really stick the landing. I mean, the chorus is fine. I like the concept. The production is fine. But I don't think that this is one of the more interesting releases this year, let alone the last 2 years, you know, because I think in the good and the bad, One Us is able to consistently make, you know, quality music, so I can't be mad at them for that, and hopefully they keep doing that. But, you know, this is not one of my favorite songs, but it's definitely a quality track. So if you're a fan of One Us, you're gonna enjoy this. If you're a true fan of them, like, you don't listen to them, there's no way you're gonna dislike it. It's not badly produced. The production is fine. It's interesting enough, I think, to make them stand out from the rest of the groups of their with this single still. So I have nothing to really talk about it in a negative manner, at least. Next we have Dustin with Crazy. This is a super independent group. The song is fine. Again, weird engineering and mixing in here. The chorus is fun. The production is cool. You know, there's a lot of negatives about it. I enjoy it. I think I've heard, I don't know if it was in comments already, that apparently this group was supposed to disband, they didn't disband. You know, as I've always said, I think it's important for K-pop to have an underground scene, even if they're not selling millions of records, because then from that scene you're gonna breed interesting stuff. So it's cool to see these groups not disbanding after a day like we saw with that poor group. Was it last year? Yeah, where they debuted like a week they disbanded, which was ridiculous, you know. So hopefully, you know, Dustin Dustin like many other groups stay around and build that foundation for smaller independent groups to do their own stuff and maybe become more popular, you know. But I think it's gonna be really hard considering how much Korea as the entertainment industry doesn't really have that type of scene at all. You know, the only thing that we want to see in general is super mainstream stuff. A little bit under that, but almost nothing below that. So it's something you need to build slowly, and hopefully, you know, in 3, 4, 5 years, gonna have that foundation. Giselle featuring Ocean from the Blue with Butterfly. Giselle, Butterfly with featuring Ocean from the Blue. This is a song that reminds me of AIDS, honestly, mainly. It reminds me a little bit of IU and some of her more recent B tracks. You know, it's a classic R&B in many way that you see a lot in K-pop, but in Korea, I mean, sorry. I really like the feature as well. It's such a weird feature as well, but it fits very well. Like I think they fit very well with each other. Interesting, a lot of features this first part of September have been very interesting to me. You know, it's rare to see these features being so interesting, so different. But I can tell that it's a good song. You know, it's the artist that I didn't know of, so I'm definitely gonna check her music and see what she's gonna do in the future, because I think she has something in her. You know, I don't know how good she can be, but there's some talent there. It's obvious, I think, very obvious. You can just hear it. Next we have Kitty B with Lucky featuring Hane. This is a good song. Kitty B does a great job with her rap, with her vocals. Hane brings a good feature. Kitty B has been more active in music recently, which is good. She disappeared for a long time, I remember. But I'm happy she's back because she's a quality artist in my opinion. And it's obviously that she's doing it pretty much just for the love of music. You know, she's not doing it because of numbers or because of success. She's doing whatever she wants. Hane is one of the people that I respect the most probably in Korea, because he collaborates with everybody, helps everybody. He's a cool dude overall. There isn't much to say about it in a negative manner. Now, I don't know if I'm confusing with the other Hane I'm talking about. Regardless, like, I think it's him, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's him. Like, he's somebody that has done so much for K-pop in Korea and Korean hip-hop. People don't really talk about him, but he's really good. He's very important, I think, in a way. And it's great to see him support a friend making music and giving us a really good verse as well. Lee Jung-suk with Surrender, one of the best songs of the year. Obviously, Jung-suk from B2B, great throwback disco 80s with a flavor of modern pop and EDM, and great vocals. Obviously, Jung-suk is one of the best vocalists in K-pop history, and I really like the video. It's rare to see a video where the main idol is hardly ever in the scenes, you know. This great dancer, which I forgot her name, I'm sorry, she's really good, and she's the star, and the song is amazing. It's really good, and I think this is a song where also I think the fusion of English and Korean, it's done masterfully. You know, a lot of times it's just thrown there, but the way Jung-suk, and I don't know if he wrote the song, I would assume he did, but whoever wrote the song like did a great job of fusing these two things together and doing it in a very good manner, in a way that it doesn't feel like forced in any way. Next we have Busters with Broken Clock. From the title, from the music video, it screams G-Friend. You can clearly feel the G-Friend influence, even the music itself. A little bit of A-Pink in there as well, but specifically G-Friend. You know, I think there's certain parts remind me of Rough or Glass Beat. Even the title song is Broken Clock. You know, it sounds like an early G-Friend single. It's a good song though. I enjoyed it. You know, you don't really hear this type of K-pop songs as much as it used to be. And the vocals are good. You know, it's a group. I think Busters is a group that, you know, legitimately is a solid group, but I don't think they do amazing numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like 20k, you know, it's like they're very undergone their own thing, but similar to the discussion I did for Dustin, like, I think it's important for them to remain in the industry, even just part-time while they do other things in life, and come back and make music. You know, it sets up a foundation of people to just make music for enjoyment and not for extreme success, and that builds up K-pop to be more interesting in the future. But I mean, it took Japan how long? It's gonna take K-pop very long as well, I think. Next is Kraxi with Requiem. More of the edgy side for Kraxi. I mean, Kraxi is always somewhat of an edgy group, but this song is definitely, like, from the music videos, everything is so like this kind of dystopian future, like fantasy type of thing. Kind of Dreamcatcher vibes from their latest music videos. The song is very good. I think it's interesting. Interesting enough that it sounds different from other Praxis stuff, but it's still in the same ballpark, you know, in my opinion. In a way, it's more mainstream as well, but it's not a negative. I think Praxis is a good group. They have a decent following, and hopefully with this song, like many others, they grow, you know, because they deserve to be bigger, because I think they're good.
Next we have Winna with Like a Psycho. This is a quality track from a small group. This is what I'm talking about. Like, even though they're an underground group, they have good production, good vocals, the mixing is well done. It's very catchy. I enjoy the chorus a lot. I think this is a great example of having a simple music video, but the quality of the song is there. Therefore, you know, you're not over investing in the visuals because you don't have the money, but if you invest in the music, they can last and build a fan base. The song is very fun. It grew on me. It took me 3 or 4 listens to really enjoy it, but I really like it, honestly. I do. Next we have Ravi with Dum Dum Dum. This is a song that embodies the music video perfectly. It's a concert song. It's a rave song. You know, it's a festival type of track. It's enjoyable. Production is simple. I've always enjoyed Ravi using this auto-tune. I always thought his vocals fit very well, but I like Ravi when he does more, you know, hardcore rap shit, or when he does more of the fusion stuff. Here, it's a simple pop song, in my opinion, of the 2020s. Nothing really special about it, but again, it's not a bad track. Next we have SUNYA x Wonder Girls with Genuine. Good track. It flows the same way the other tracks she released before do. Great vocals in here as well. Production fits well. The mood, the aesthetic, the elegance, the sexiness is there, and I think she does it well. You know, it's a fine song. I enjoy this more than her like re-debut she released a couple of weeks ago as a soloist, but I enjoy this a little bit more. I think it fits her just better. And next we have Justice with one of the best rap songs of the year, with This Is Life. Great song. Again, Justice been doing a lot of like music stuff, a lot of singing the last month, but to hear him again going back to his strength, which is rapping, is great. You know, he has been rapping amazing. Not only has been rapping amazing, his flows have been sick. His cadence, his rapping, his rhymes and everything has been incredible, and the chorus in this here is really, really good as well. One of the best rap songs of the year, easily, in my opinion. Next we have Ph1 with You featuring Blaze, another artist that I think has been finding really his niche this year in 2022. And I like how he has these verses where they're just straight up hip hop, and then these verses that are more pop, but still palatable to his more hardcore hip-hop fan, and still, you know, attract a mainstream audience in the West and in Korea, you know. And this is what I want from Higher Music. I don't want Higher Music to be like AMG. AMG is gonna be mainstream in every way, but Higher Music to me has to be that alternative for people. They want a little bit more, not necessarily quality, but a little bit more like hardcore stuff, a little bit more for the enjoyers of the genre. Also, getting Blaze on the feature is a statement, in my opinion. You know, he's a hardcore rapper in Korea, and you know, it helps him get more followers because of who Ph1 is. But you know, he comes in and does his thing without having to, you know, play a part or to get into the mainstream. So that's what Higher Music has to be, and that's why I think they have to keep being a straight up hip hop company for the most part. Next we have Colin with Missing My Summer. Not the most original track. There's some synthwave, there's some 80s, kind of like the Weekend type of style of music. You know, we've heard a million times, or like flashing, Dying by the Light and stuff like that. You know, so you know, it's an enjoyable track. I think the vocals are fine, but again, music like this is thousands of songs in these last 2 years after the success Weekend had with the type of Blinding Lights, that's what the song is called, and stuff like that. So you wish a little bit more originality in the songs, but the song is still an enjoyable listen. It's laid back. If you have it in the playlist, and you're never gonna really skip it, I think, for the most part. Next is Jackson Wine with Blue. I think this is an interesting song for one of the main singles of his album release. You know, it's a vocal performance. I think it's a little bit overproduced. Sometimes you struggle to hear his voice, at least in the YouTube version. Jackson has definitely improved as a vocalist. He was never a bad one, but he's definitely improved the last 2-3 years. But it's a fun song. I think for Jackson, it's quite out there. It's a little bit on the experimental side of things, and he's trying different things. You know, you have to give him credit. I thought it was a good song. You know, I've been a Jackson critic, but I think, you know, when somebody does well, you have to give them their flowers, and I think it's something Alba has been doing really good in recent times. Next we have Ravi with Kiss You. This is, to me personally, a little bit more on the underwhelming side. It's not a bad song, but again, it's similar vibes from the Calling song. This production, this style of singing, and this style of choruses, we've heard a million times. I know Ravi is I think, a very original artist, and when he does this type of things a little bit, it disappoints me. Again, it's not a bad track, but I want more from him, especially because he's going to the military. I'm not going to hear his stuff for 2 years. You know, he has a great catalog, so I don't have any issue going back, but, you wish sometimes they leave with a bang, but, it's not a bad song. It's, again, similar to his other song. It's a concert song. It's a song you go there with the fans and you sing it together, and, you set up the mood, so I'm not going to hate on it. Next, we have a very particular song from Hoggak, when he does a collab song with Zia, Drunken Night. Now, normally Hoggak has been on the more pop, experimenting with his flows, with his sounds, and art, collaborating with a lot of different artists. But here he does a straight up ballad, where Zia does an incredible vocal job, and he does an incredible vocal job as well. As always with ballads, lackluster production, simplistic vocals. There isn't much experimenting here. So while it's not a bad song, I have to say from Hoggak specifically, it's one of his most underwhelming, considering the stuff, since one of his songs is in my top 20 best songs of the year, and it's probably gonna go up in the future. So, I wish it was a little bit more. Having said all that, great vocals. I mean, if you're a guy or a girl that enjoys listening to them amazing, Korean vocals in the ballads, I mean, this song is just for you. And this was it for the first part of September, the first 10 days. I'd say it's been a little bit underwhelming. While there were some decent songs, nothing really stood out to me as incredible. There were some good songs, but for the most part, a lot of mediocre or average stuff, which I can't be mad, because I mean, if I have to look objectively the genre, till July, maybe only 1 month was a little bit up and down. The rest were all amazing. August was a little bit as well up and down, and September has started the best way. But we have Blackpink, I think I think Twice, I think Les Seraphim might have a comeback, so we have a bunch of interesting stuff coming around. But I expect the second part of the year to be less interesting and worse than the first one, because people forget it. We had Girls' Generation, we had Big Bang, we had 21 coming back at a concert, Blackpink had a comeback, EXO had a comeback, everybody had a comeback, right? All the major, even the smaller groups had a lot of music released. So I expect certain groups to come around, maybe iKON, maybe B2B, stuff like that. Maybe even again a big group, maybe an aespa, but I expect it to be a worse second part. Now, I have been saying for months I was gonna release the best K-pop albums list, but if God is willing to forgive me, I'll give it. I'm supposed to drop it this weekend, which is the 17th and 18th. I'll drop them during the weekend, maybe max the 19th. I'll drop it, and if I can find people to start a podcast with, they'll be sick as well. Having said all of that, if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time, which is gonna be actually not that far from when the video is gonna drop, but you're gonna see it. See you in whatever the next video is gonna be, and have a great day, evening, whatever. I have to go to sleep. I'm fucking tired.